Hello, my name is Anna, and I love trying vintage recipes for my cookbook collection. But today is a little bit different. Today I'm not using a cookbook. I know, please stick with me. I'm going to be trying 3 recipes for holiday appetizers from the 1990s. So I was still a kid in the 1990s. I was, 9 years old in 1990. So I have a lot of fond memories of holiday gatherings and parties and things like that. And we did a lot of potlucks in my family because my extended family is pretty large. So these are some of the things that we would have at said gatherings. One thing I do want to say, I understand that some of these recipes they don't originate in the 90s. I get that, I know. Really, the year is just referring to the time that I remember having them. So a couple of these things are recipes that I kind of know by heart. They are only sort of recipes. I will have instructions in the description down below, I promise. There's one that I don't know if I can even recreate. First, I'm gonna start out with one of my absolute favorites, pickle rolls, a Midwestern delicacy. You really only need 3 ingredients for this recipe. Dill pickles, cream cheese, very soft cream cheese, and ham. Specifically, I like to use ham that is in the shape of a rectangle. I can pretty reliably get my hands on this at Aldi. So that's what I do. I do have one super top secret, not so top secret, tip on making these. Paper towels. So everything needs to be incredibly dry when you assemble them. Otherwise, everything is just gonna kind of slip around. You can see that I have drained my pickles, and I'm gonna use some paper towels to dry the ham off as I use it, to like blot the moisture away. I know there are a lot of variations on these appetizers. Some people use other lunch meats like turkey or salami. Some people like to add things to the cream cheese, chives, herbs, whatever, salt. I don't need anything. I just need these 3 ingredients and it's perfect for me. And I think I've heard people call these Midwestern sushi. I don't take offense to that. I do think it's a Midwestern delicacy. And if you really think about the flavor combination, you've got salty ham, you've got this creamy, yummy cream cheese, and the tart vinegary pickles. It really does make for a tasty experience in my book anyway. So make all the fun you want. More for me, right? So you can see that I'm kind of like trying to blot away some of the moisture here. So I've got my very dry piece of ham. I have an incredibly soft block of cream cheese. Yeah, you can use the whipped cream cheese if you want. I like to use whipped cream cheese in an emergency, like if I absolutely need to eat one of these immediately. But traditionally, growing up, this is what we would use. We'd get really, really soft, like blocks of cream cheese going. And here's what you do. It's not hard. So you want to put a layer of cream cheese on your ham. Having some sort of like offset spreader or offset spatula can really help here. So take your time. You don't want to tear the ham. And really the amount that you put on here is up to you, but I like to put a pretty nice layer, kind of like going almost all the way to the edges if you can. And then you take a pickle, you put the pickle on the short end, and then you roll it. That's it. That's why they are called pickle rolls. So I have one here. I mean, you can eat this immediately, you really can, but if you're making these for a function or something, you want to make probably a bunch of them, you're going to want to chill them. So I'm going to put them in a container. Let's do one more. We got to blot our ham, go in with the cream cheese. I mean, I bet chive cream cheese would be really good with this, but like, frankly, I don't think you absolutely need to do that. Keep it easy, keep it simple. If you're gonna make a bunch of appetizers for a party, you wanna probably keep some of them at least a little easy to make. And all 3 of these recipes are gonna be pretty easy to make. I wonder if I can get like a side view of this ham. So you can kind of see where I'm at with that cream cheese. Like that's a good amount for me. Because you're gonna roll it and it is gonna be kind of a little bit layered, like you can kind of see there. But if you wanna go more, I mean, I'm not gonna judge you. You roll it, and you got 2 of them. So I'm gonna get the rest of these put together and put them in the fridge, and then I'll bring them out and slice them so we can give them a taste. I say we, but it's me, I'm sorry. I get to taste them. All right, so I've let these chill for about an hour. These are great things to make ahead of time. So you can make a bunch of these the night before, and then when you're ready to serve, you just need to slice them. I got 7 out of 1 block of cream cheese. So I'm gonna say you probably get about between 6 and 8 of these roll-ups per block of cream cheese. Here's what Mom and I did. We would like to slice off the ends and set those aside. Those are the chef's treat, right? Like that, because you want, you know, it looks good from that side, but like, you know, that's not perfect. So we get to eat that. So we would slice off the ends and just kind of, you know, keep those. And then you can probably get, I don't know, 4 or 5 slices out of each of these, depending on the thickness. But look how cute. I mean, no wonder they're called Midwestern sushi, right? All right, so I got 5. I got 5 from that. And truth be told, I've definitely gone a little thicker on the cream cheese with these sometimes. So it's really kind of up to your tastes, what you want to do. Oh man, speaking of taste, I kind of can't wait to give these a taste. My beautiful little pickle rolls here. I absolutely know what these taste like, and that's why I'm so excited to give them a try, wink. You know, this is like a staple in my family. These are also great if you want to make a whole bunch of them all at once, but just slice a few at a time. So maybe you've got like a couple of events coming up or a couple of nights where you're gonna have people over. This is a great thing to just kind of like assemble and slice as needed. So good. Exactly the flavors I described. Salty ham, vinegary tart pickles, creamy cream cheese. To some people, this does not sound appetizing, but I can tell you it's delicious, and Christmas and other holidays and functions like just really would not be the same without these. The next holiday appetizer that I'm going to be putting together is Rumaki. From my understanding, Rumaki is rooted in tiki culture. It was a very common appetizer in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and it usually included water chestnuts, chicken livers, bacon, and then a sauce that was made of something like soy sauce, brown sugar, maybe some garlic and ginger that you would brush on the little wrapped appetizers and then bake. The version that I am making is much simpler. Again, 3 ingredients. We have bacon, we have barbecue sauce, and we have canned whole water chestnuts. So I understand this is probably not the original, you know, authentic recipe, but this is the one that I grew up with, and it is super delicious and super simple. So I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. Gotta open up my bacon. I opted for some lower sodium bacon, and I also went kind of like thin bacon. I personally prefer, in general, thinner bacon to thicker bacon. I think it's a good idea in this case as well, just so it's a little bit crispier on the outside. And I'm not gonna use this whole pack, but I will tell you how much I use in the description down below. Some people like to use multiple water chestnuts. I think I'm gonna make these little, and that means cutting the bacon into pieces. So let's just see what we can see here. Maybe if I do like thirds. Let's go thirds and see how it goes. I am not, again, following exact recipes for these things. I'm kind of doing this from memory from when I was a kid. So I've got my little pieces of bacon and then water chestnut. I remember assembling stuff like this with my mom, like what felt like hundreds of these things. Okay, so I've got my little water chestnut packet, and I have some just round toothpicks here, and I'm gonna spear it so everything stays the way it needs to. I'm cooking these on a sheet pan with a rack on top. We definitely didn't do this when I was growing up, but I don't know. I thought maybe it would aid in the crisping of everything. So let's do it again. Okay, you're making like cute little packets of water chestnut and bacon. I remember these being really, really special. Like this was like either the family Christmas party, like the big potluck one, or sometimes like a New Year's Eve thing, because I mean, this is peak fanciness, isn't it? But I can't tell you how much my mouth is just watering, like putting all these things together. Oh my gosh, this is very special food to me. I'm gonna go ahead and just like assemble the rest of these, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so I've assembled my delicious little bundles. I probably used about half a pound of bacon for 1 8-ounce can of water chestnuts. And now I have just some bottled barbecue sauce, And I'm gonna brush these with the sauce. You know, just use what you want. I don't know, this is like probably too much sauce, but we'll see. Use your favorite kind. I don't remember these having like a ton on them. I think I could probably safely also dunk these, but I don't know. We're making it up. We're making it up as we go. So my mom and I would assemble quite a few of these, and she would serve them. I remember like we had an electric skillet. I don't have an electric skillet anymore, but boy, did we use it a lot back then. But to keep them warm, that's what she would do, is put them in that skillet, you know, for the party, for the potluck, for whatever. And people just loved these things. They were very popular. I mean, bacon, barbecue sauce, and a lovely crunch. I don't think you can go wrong. Whoops. I can go wrong. I just did. I don't know, folks. I think I'll just dip them in the barbecue sauce next time. We won't get so fancy and fussy. Okie doke. Here we go. So I've got all of these brushed with a little bit of the sauce. So I preheated my oven to 375. I'm thinking 30 to 40 minutes on these. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on them because I'm not positive. I'm also gonna keep this like sauce waiting for me in the wings because I might wanna brush a little bit more on like halfway through the bake. But rest assured, I will let you know exactly what I do in the description down below. Will you just look at these? Oh my gosh, so caramelized, so beautiful. I'm very excited. Okay, so some updates on these on the time. I ended up cooking these in the oven, 375 degrees for 35 minutes. At 15 minutes in, I did brush a little bit of additional sauce on these, just very carefully, so that they would get nice and, you know, browned and caramelized and stuff. These are fresh from the oven. I should probably wait a little bit before I try them, but I don't want to. Yeah, they're piping hot. If they were a little bit cooler, I'd probably just pop the whole thing in my mouth, but I just took a little bite. Delicious, exactly as I remember it. A little bit fancy, like it feels a little fancy, but it's 3 ingredients, and it's 3 ingredients that are very easy to keep on hand. I usually have water chestnuts in my pantry, barbecue sauce in the fridge, and bacon in the fridge. What more could you want from something like this? This is really exciting because I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm making something that I remember being called Bugle Dip, and I mean these. So it was a dip that you would scoop up with bugles specifically. When I talked to my mom about this, asking if grandma, you know, made this dip, does she know the recipe? My mom's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So we had a whole conversation, and what we think is that this recipe starts with port wine cheese. And my grandma likely used the little, I think the craft kind in the little glass jars. I couldn't find that. I know they make the other flavors. I don't know if they still make the port wine one, so I'm gonna use this kind. And texture-wise, I'm gonna guess it was this mixed with sour cream and maybe some spices. I remember like little flecks, like little reddish flecks, so I'm gonna go maybe a little pinch of paprika, maybe onion powder. I'm gonna avoid the salt because this cheese spread is super salty, but I'm also kind of trying to figure this out based on what my grandma would have had spice-wise. So this is gonna be a taste as I go situation, not a taste at the end, because I have no idea. No idea if I'm gonna be able to recreate this, but it's gonna be fun to try. I'm just gonna start with like little bits of things and mix them together and see where we land. Look at that. It looks like water ice or like sorbet or something. It definitely smells like fruity, winey stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna start with equal parts of port wine cheese spread. So let's go a 1/4 cup on these things, just because I really, like I said, I have no idea, and I do not have an unlimited amount of this. I just bought the 1 container. I know this comes in cheese ball form as well. I've seen that, but this was definitely a dip. It was like, I remember it being a little bit shiny. It wasn't a spread, it wasn't thick, and you would scoop it with those bugles. That's the reason I'm going sour cream rather than cream cheese, because it was kind of like thinner than cream cheese, I guess. But I could be totally wrong. I don't know. So that's our little bit of port wine cheese spread. I'm gonna go equal part sour cream with this. I mean, even if it's not exactly the same, I don't see how this can't taste good. I mean, I've been surprised before though. This is like a science experiment right here. I'm not even gonna do any spices yet. I'm just gonna mix this together and see what it looks like. That's what it looks like now. I know that's a really small amount. Okay, discoveries. Discoveries have been made. We're getting close on the color. I think this is maybe a little too vibrant. I want to say that it was a little more pale than this, but the consistency is getting closer. So it might have been a little bit more sour cream than this. The flecks are not there because I haven't added any spices yet. I do want to taste. I'm going to taste, just one moment. So we're going to scoop. This is what you would do. You'd take a bugle and you'd scoop like that. I don't want to take too much because I don't want to ruin my proportions here. Oh, heck, that's sweet. We're making headway, but that's too sweet. I think it's more sour cream. I think it is more sour cream. So I'm gonna add like a little bit more. I have this little 1/8 of a cup, so I'm gonna add just like a little bit more. And then I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of seasoning. Let's just go in. I'm gonna use sweet paprika because that's what I've got. This is 1/8 of a teaspoon measure, but I'm just gonna go like not even half. And maybe I just feel like onion powder too. I think it just feels right. She also was big on the Lowry's seasoned salt, but again, this cheese is already salty and it's served with Bugles, which are super salty. So we're not gonna go for the Lowry's seasoned salt. Okay, we're getting there, I think. This is better, still not quite pale enough. Still not enough like little flecks of seasoning. Yeah, so I think close on the color. I'm gonna add another 1/8 of a cup of sour cream and definitely like more paprika. I don't know, folks. I mean, I don't know if anybody has had this before. I couldn't find any recipes online for anything called Bugle Dip. So I don't know if that's what I called it as a kid or what, but some more sour cream. I don't know if this is exciting for anybody except me. I'm very excited. It's like I'm solving mysteries here. And it needs, it definitely had like visible flecks in it. So I'm gonna go actually like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Oh, I know that's a lot, but this is science, baby. Okay. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh. The visible flecks are there. This is getting, I think we're almost, if not there. All right, you know what? I gotta do one more little taste test here. We're gonna do one more. Okay. I think that's it. Did I just crack the code on this Bugle Dip? So I have my nice little holiday spread of super easy appetizers. And, I've already tried them. I've already given all of them a taste. I'm doing it again for the sake of science, right? I'm gonna start with my pickle rolls. I cannot eat those without smiling. They're so good. And my fancy, it's not that fancy. It just, growing up when you're little, when you're a kid, things on toothpicks probably look a little fancy to you. So that's how I remember them. They've cooled down a bit. I think they're gonna be a little bit easier to eat now. Salty bacon, sweet and tangy barbecue sauce, and then the crunch from that water chestnut is just perfect. It's got a lot of nice texture and a lot of nice flavor to it for something so easy to make and with so few ingredients. Here it is, folks. The elusive Bugle Dip. So this is what I remember, and I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but it was a little glossy. It was kind of this pale pinky orange color, and you could see like little flecks in it. So I think I've gotten pretty close. I mean, truly, it has been years since I've eaten it, but apparently it made an impression on me. If I'm remembering it. And I think what likely happened, and I'm sure a lot of you have grandmas and moms and aunts like this. My grandma was a very experimental cook. She didn't really use recipes. She used pinches and dashes and this and that, didn't really write things down. And she also was a big fan of like using things up, using what they had. So I'm kind of wondering if she created this just because she was like, well, I have this port wine cheese spread. I have sour cream. I've got this, I've got that. Let's just put it together and mix it up, see if it tastes good. And we'll make a dip out of it. It tasted good to me. I'm tasting it again. It's like pairs really well. And It pairs so well with those like very salty Bugles. Could probably use Fritos for this too, but I think Bugles are just a lot of fun, aren't they? It's a little creamy. The dip is a little creamy. It's a little sweet. All of these appetizers were like 3 ingredients. This, I did put a little pinch of onion powder in it. I don't know if it made a difference. Could probably get away with just the cheese spread, the sour cream, and some paprika. So each of these, let's just say each of these are 3 ingredient appetizers. So if you need something super easy to make for a gathering or to take to a gathering, you could give one of these a try and I'm sure it would be a hit at your party. I hope this video maybe brought back some warm food memories of the past, and I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to see some additional content from me, you can join my Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.